So I'm on Multnomah Creek, the trail along Multnomah Creek. Notice this is the first place where there's actually snow on the trail this year. So it's April 9th, I think. Yeah, Friday, April 9th, 8:06 a.m. You can see that by the dirt, there's been a lot of people walking up here since the trail opened a month ago. It's a very pretty trail. I'm already above the first waterfall, but there's all these rapids here, and then there's a couple more waterfalls. They're not as big as the first one, but personally I think they're prettier. A lot of times the smaller waterfalls are more interesting. As you can see, there's no guardrail or anything here, so you might want to consider watching where you're going if you come up here. Just a suggestion. I just got passed by a couple hikers. I'm going slow because I'm getting these videos. They got their hiking poles and everything, so they're trekking on up there, showing me how it's done. But yeah, check this out. I'm gonna pause here a second. So you can see there's a lot of rocks and rapids on this creek. Very pretty. There's the trail I came up. Notice I'm up on a hump where there was an avalanche. Check this out. I want to pan up here. So look at that. There's a cool little waterfall. I'm not sure what this type of waterfall is coming. When a waterfall is real small like this and it's coming straight down, they call it a drip waterfall. It's a little wetter than a drip waterfall. Plus it's coming down an angle. So, but it's, yeah, it's a long series of cascades. Kind of cool. So you pan down, comes here to the creek, and then it just sort of goes across the trail between the rocks. Don't even have a pipe, water pipe or nothing. It just goes in between the rocks. Kind of neat. Man, that's so pretty. I feel like going out there and waiting. They want to stay on the trail there to prevent erosion and everything. I don't think there's any fish up here since it's surrounded by waterfalls. I couldn't imagine a fish jumping up a 400-foot waterfall. It'd be impressive to see if it happened. It was funny. See all those logs there. At first you might think, aha, it's a beaver dam. No, it probably just washed down here. Erosion. Well, you know, they floated down, got caught in this rock. Something like that. Here's a little bit more snow on the side of the trail. Actually, it's funny, if you hike in the snow like this in the morning, it's nice and firm, so you can walk on it. But then in the afternoon, the heat makes it a lot softer and you sink in more. So it's actually harder and colder going back down than coming up, because you might get ice, snow inside your shoes, socks, if you're not prepared for that. Last week I did this hike. I made it about 3/4 of the trip without getting my feet wet. And then I slipped on a rock and got one of my feet all soaking wet. Boy, did my shoes stink after that. I was wondering, what is the different criteria between rapids and a waterfall? I mean, is this one waterfall, two waterfalls, rapids? Anyway, in English, there's water coming down the rocks. Notice here, I'm guessing when they created this trail, this tree wasn't here. So this is probably one that came down because of the fire. Just like that one. I don't know if you could tell, on that side, there was a wildfire a couple years ago. If you were up here a few years ago, it'd be a lot darker because all the trees would be covered in needles or whatever. Now I gotta climb up here. Careful not to get my backpack stuck on the log. See, look how high up I am. You know, high enough up, if I fell down, I wouldn't die, but it would hurt really bad. That would kind of suck. So definitely watch where you're going if you come up here. I don't even think I'd come up here if there was ice or snow. Doesn't seem like it'd be worth the trouble. Oh boy, it'd be pretty though. There's so many rapids on this creek, I don't even want to turn off my camera. I feel like just leaving it running the whole time. I only have 4 batteries though, so I don't know. Probably should turn off my camera once in a while. Some things like waterfalls, they're so much better in person. A camera just doesn't do it justice. Our cameras just aren't that good. Especially since I'm only shooting at 30 frames per second. Last week I came by with a different camera, shot at 60 frames per second, and I left an hour later, so there was a little more light. Previous video I just saying how there's hardly any songbirds up here. Now I hear a songbird. Alrighty then. Sometimes I wish we had better views of these things. They want us to stay on the trail though, so I'm not going to climb down there. I don't want to trample the countryside. There's so many ferns and other plants. I don't want to damage them all trying to get a decent picture video. Oh wow. Hold on. I stopped. I don't know if the camera's picking up. Right on the very top of that trunk there is that songbird. I wonder how long he'll stay there while I get closer. Oh, there he goes. Yeah. Those little birds are quick. Wow. 2 birds just passed me on the right, so I had my camera pointing left. Go figure. Now here's a spot I kind of like. This is obviously where they modified the countryside to put in the trail. So look at to the right, they obviously dug back into the rock, and then this ledge where the trail is, this obviously built. You can tell underneath they piled it up, made it out of rocks. This isn't the kind of trail you could just take a shovel and build yourself easily. It takes a little bit of work to make a trail like this. I am curious though, this overhead, how much of this is natural? Was any of it here, or they'd really dig all this out? My guess it was the ceiling's normal, but this overhang area wasn't nearly as big. My first guess. Okay, I'm coming up to one of the bigger waterfalls, and notice there's another patch of snow on the trail. What kind of sucks, there's a switchback on the trail up there. You don't get to go all the way up to the waterfall. You'd think they'd put in a little spur trail so people go check it out, but obviously they want to balance protecting